Okay, this is Andy Graham of Hobo Traveler. I've lived in about 800 to 1,400 hotels in my life. I've traveled for 14 years, and 14 years on March 1st. I visited 90 countries. This is lesson number 5, I think. I'm going to call it Walk the City. Getting a room, how to find a cheap room. Finding a cheap room is really a trade-off of the amount of time you put into it to the amount of the cost. Obviously, the amount of time it takes to rent a room for a day is about the same as it takes to rent one for a month. So if you really want to get a cheaper room, you can, if you get the best price, then for a month. Okay, walking the city. That does, to a person going to New York City, that sounds pretty thing. But there are neighborhoods. What I do is this: I take out the guidebook, I read it, and it's going to tell me different neighborhoods where you have different price ranges. Then I'm going to key in on a certain hotel. So what I'll do is I'll find a specific hotel that is my target hotel that I'm going to go try to rent a room at. Okay, and then I'll have a backup hotel. On one side of this, like a piece of paper, like an index card, I'll write the name of one hotel, and then I'll write the other name on the other. I got to be real careful here. I don't put them on about the same side, because if you're showing them to a taxi, it actually gets them confused. A lot of times the taxi driver can't read, especially in the poorer countries. So you just want the name of the hotel, nothing else. And if the taxi driver doesn't know the name, doesn't recognize it, go to the next taxi driver. Okay, then I go to that hotel, and then once I'm in that neighborhood, say, normally hotels of the same price are grouped in the same area. So it's like buying a house or something. They're all in the same price range. Okay, but you have two types of cities. You have cities where all the hotels are clumped together, and they're like in a big group, like in Hoboon Road, or even here in Sosua, where I'm at right now in the Dominican Republic. But then you have like more normal cities, which are not so much tourist cities. Tourist cities will have a bubble, and it'll be all hotels. Okay, obviously if you get outside that bubble, they're starting to be sprawled around in more like a business hotel. A business hotel or a salesman hotel is in specific parts of the city for different reasons. Normally you'll have ones close to the market. Like in a normal city, you'll have ones in the center of town, close to the market. You'll have them on the on the streets coming in and going out, which are for like people to park their cars and then drive into the city. Or then you have these love hotels, which are sprawled, just little hotels in the middle of the city where the locals come and bring their girlfriends. Okay, so once I get to that hotel and I say I can't make a deal, and I'm always going to try to get a room for $10. Of course, I try to get less too, but I really don't care about the hotel. I care about my budget, and so I want to spend $300 a month, and that's just kind of my world price, whatever, and get the most amount of benefits for the money. Now, there's basically what we're doing is buying a bundle of benefits in a hotel, and then we're going to have to pay so much for them, and then they should add up to $10. So if suddenly they didn't have water, I guess I would only pay $2 for the hotel, right? But if you have high-speed internet and stuff, I may pay $12. But you got to think about it. If you're paying $2 for internet a day and you have to go outside your hotel, is it really part of the hotel or whatever? But if you're going to, have Spanish classes with the thing, and that's costing you an extra $5 a day, that's $15 hotel. Okay, so once I get to this neighborhood, because I've looked in the guidebook, I read the map, I studied the map, I know where I'm at, I take a taxi takes me there. When I get off the plane, I ask everybody how much a taxi was. I didn't ask the taxi driver, I asked everybody on the plane, how much is a taxi to this thing? And then normally, well, one of them will cough it up while I'm going through customs or something, you know, the price of a taxi, and then I get the taxi, go to the hotel. The deal falls through. Well, generally, if it's a real competitive area, there's probably hotels around there trying to undercut that hotel. So what I'm going to do is walk around. Now, what I'm looking for is hotels that are almost not advertised. I mean, they're basically not very good at marketing and whatever. Now, I want you to always remember this. This is one of the best things about finding a hotel. The hotel owner never goes into his competition's hotel. So you're thinking that they're somehow competitive. They're not. They really don't know what the other hotel is. So you can go right next door and have a hotel that would be 5 times better, that would be half the price. Now why? Because the person prices the hotel only on what is in their brain. They don't price the hotel according to some kind of market standard or benefits or anything like that. There is no such thing as an appraisal of a hotel, and there is no such thing as a hotel critic. Okay, we get reviews, but they don't really know what they're doing either. So you can walk into any hotel. So don't pre-qualify a hotel and not go into it. Walk into all the hotels, and if nothing else, try to ping them as the price. But start out by saying, I want a $10 hotel or a $5 hotel or whatever you want. Don't tell them you want a cheap room. You got to come across as cheap. You got to come across as, you don't want to walk in there as Mr. Big rich man. That's not the way you're going to get the price. You got to basically sell them on the idea that you need a cheap room. They want to give you a room. Okay, now, as you're walking around, you're going to, don't get in a hurry. I arrived, like the other day I said in a lesson, I don't know which it was, but it said arrive before 12. I want you to have the idea that you have the whole day to look around. Now, the biggest problem with walking the city is your luggage. Now, 90% of you are going to be couples. So, what you couldn't do is just park the person. I've had many a girlfriend where I just parked in a parking lot. I remember in Rio, I was with this Argentina girl in Brazil, and she was just complaining. And she says we have to pay $40 per night for a hotel. I park her in this restaurant, and then I go looking. Well, guess what? I didn't find a hotel for $40, but I found a full apartment for $12 a day. Travel rooms. I'm looking for a place to sleep. I'm not getting hung up on the word hotel. I'm looking for a place to sleep. So a lot of times when I'm talking to things, I say, I need a place to sleep. And I say, I need a place to sleep, and I'm looking to spend $5 to $10 a day. And you talk to the locals. Yo quiero un cuarto para más o menos $5-10 un día, pero no necesito, yo muy pobre. Okay, so you start walking. I have a dog chain on my backpack. It's just a normal dog chain. There's like 3 sizes. I get the smallest, really. You don't really need things. If they're going to steal the thing, they're going to steal the thing. I just need it to slow down the honest people. I'll take that. I'll take all the backpacks, hook them together, put them on, tie them to a chair, stick my girlfriend sitting there drinking Coca-Cola or beer or whatever, and then I'll go for a walk. I will talk with everybody. My thing is, I need a room. I need a place to sleep. I don't say hotel. Now, the word hotel, hostel, auberge, all these words key in. In a lot of worlds, the tax word for hotel means a higher priced. Pension in Spanish means a cheap one. Hospedaje, there's different words that mean cheap. Just get rid of these things and say, I want a cheap room. Because if you key in on the word hotel, that means a tax bracket, really, in the world. So a hostel is cheaper than a thing. Now, people say, I don't live in a hostel. A lot of hostels have single rooms. I don't want you to go sleep in a dorm room. I mean, you can do it as a 1 night or 2 night. I was in Turkey. I stayed in a dorm. I stayed in the hostel for 1 day. Then I went and next morning walked around. I mean, this is a cheap way to do it. You can go couch surf for 1 day. You sacrifice the first night, okay? Okay, so walking the city. How do you walk the city? Now, operative thing is you don't want to get lost. So first of all, walk straight away from where you're going and straight back. And then walk in quads or something. Walk straight forward and straight back from landmarks. Always know how to, if you're working it from the hotel that you originally used off the plane, you can, you know, if the taxi drivers do it. If you get lost, you take a taxi back. Okay. So walking the city, how long am I going to walk? I mean, I came to the city to take a tour of the city. As long as my backpack's protected, I'm going to relax. I'm going to walk around until I find a hotel. Now, I don't commit normally. I mean, 99% of the time. I never commit for a month until I've interviewed the hotel for at least one night. Very, very seldom would I rent a room by the month on the first day. What I want to do is, I just want to get the first room. Each day I'm in the city, let's put it this way, I never stop looking for hotels. I'm always walking around and trying to find a better hotel than where I'm at. So I'm like a constant shopper. Okay, so the first day I'm going to walk around and I'm going to try to get the best hotel for the best price, and then maybe I'll stay in that one for 2 or 3 days, and each day I'll be walking around doing it. Now, somewhere along the line you're going to have to study the map and understand the infrastructure of the city. I'm not sure. I'm trying to look for a map so I can explain the city. Every city has sort of like a center of the city. They have main roads going in, and then they have like rich neighborhoods, poor neighborhoods, whatever. All cities are relatively the same. It's the size of the city that changes. Obviously, the bigger the city, the more complicated it gets. The smaller the city, the easier it gets. Generally, for quality of life, I would say a city under 100,000 is going to be a lot better than anything. A city under 50,000 is really good. A city, anything over 50,000, and then you have what, like a series of a lot of cities in together, like a million people city like Bangkok or 10 million people, is really like 18 cities in one. So you really can't say. So then you're really talking neighborhoods. Okay, so walking the city. What do I want you to do? I want you to relax, enjoy it, and then walk the city. And but as you're walking, if you see a gringo, a foreigner, you want to do it. Now, the locals all think we're rich, so they're going to instantly take us to the most expensive places there is. A lot of times you'll get a guy I call him Klingons. A Klingon is a person that just sees you get off the bus, boom, he's clinging on to you. He's going to be he's going to point himself, the person that speaks English, knows everything, and is going to give you a good deal. They're not going to give you a good deal, they're not going to do it, but they do make it quicker to look at the things, and they're going to get a commission. And according to the city, if you can get the guy to get you to the hotel, maybe you get him to stand outside, then go in and ask the price. Do not let this person negotiate the price. He is going to double the price. They're not going to get you any better deal just because they speak Spanish. They're not working for you. They're not. They're just basically they're pretty good for thing. A lot of times I will snag a little kid that's just hanging around, that just likes to, wants to speak English or practice or talk. And this kid will be like my guide, and I'll give him a couple bucks to walk around with me and tell me. So if there's a kid that just happens to be coming up to you and wants to walk with you, walk with him. Now, I don't know how to get people to be this, but they have to be, they have to be gregarious. They have to talk with people. If you don't talk with people, you're losing the game. If you're looking down, avoiding anybody, you're going to pay double. So the happier you are, the more you talk with people, the friendlier you are, cheaper the hotel. Okay, so this tip is walk the city. How much time? You walk until you find the price. If you don't get it, but realize you got 2 chances at walking the city, you're going to get it for one night. You don't have to get it for a month. You don't have to commit. You don't have to do it. So the first night I'm in the hotel, I may not quite unpack as heavy as I do the second or third night. Okay, Andy, hobo traveler here in the Dominican Republic, living in a hotel. My room is $235. High-speed internet, color TV, you know, cool. It's no air conditioning needed. I got, you know, $235 a month, and I'm living in paradise. Andy, hobo traveler.